DocTalk is brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Inc., the makers of Triangle Vaccines. Triangle, protection you can trust.
Hey folks, welcome to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from Kansas State University. I'm glad that you joined the show. And today, joining on the show is the feedlot class here, the Advanced Feedlot Production Medicine class, fourth-year veterinary students from Kansas State, Washington State, and beyond. Today's show is going to be great. We have Dr. Tiffany Lee, and we're going to talk about marketing cull cows. Stay tuned and enjoy the show.
It must be an inherited trait because I have never wanted to do anything other than be in the cattle business. And it's interesting as I have grandchildren now, little bitty ones. All they want to do is go to the barn, swing a rope, and be a cowboy. It's something. It's a lifestyle that we have, the way we make a living, obviously. But it's really more than that. It gives us the opportunity as a family to be able to work together and enjoy each other's company and make a living at the same time. We've been using Triangle for years, and the reason we do it's been safe and effective, and we're going to continue to do that. We'll put the cows in the chute twice a year, spring and fall. 100% of our cattle get vaccinated with Triangle.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hey folks, welcome to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from Kansas State University, and my guest today is Dr. Tiffany Lee, who's a veterinarian who is also employed at the Beef Cattle Institute at Kansas State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. And today, we're going to talk about market cows and market bulls, but specifically market cows, and we have changed the terminology, and I think that's something that people need to understand and start utilizing more within the industry. Is, you know, we used to say cull cows.
Yep.
But really these animals are being sifted, these animals are being selected, and they are going to market. Mm-hmm. And they're a pretty viable source of animal protein.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of the cuts that we see in restaurants, on the grocery store shelves, they come from market cows, and it's very good beef, it's very lean beef, and we have to remember that it's a very good source of our animal protein.
When we take a look at some of the NCBA beef quality audits, and we looked at, 15, 20 years ago, when only 50% of the market cow slaughter facilities were cutting out the middle meats, such as steaks and whole muscle roasts and everything. 50% basically were doing that, and 50% were going to hamburger. Mm-hmm. Today we're at 85% are slaughtering for those middle meats. But we need to understand that it still represents a very small proportion, and it's going to niche markets, not necessarily just something that's blended in with the rest of the industry.
Yep.
Because when we do our USDA quality grades, one of the big things is age. Mm-hmm. And so the younger age animals can qualify. When we get into the cows, we're getting into the cutter and canner and those types of quality grades, which we don't see necessarily. So talk to me a little bit about some of the work that you've been doing here at the BCI in conjunction with the industry, looking at animal welfare when issues in market cows when they're presented at slaughter.
Yeah. We've done a little bit of work just looking at market cows coming into slaughter facilities and seeing if there are any welfare problems present when they get to the slaughter facilities. We recently, there was recently a survey done of 80,000 head of market cows, which is a very large amount. And we looked at welfare issues that we may or may not see at different slaughter facilities within the United States.
Well, what were some of those welfare issues that were measured?
Well, there was a total of 10 different, we could call them defects, I guess, welfare issues. Body condition score, let's see, udder conditions, lameness, non-ambulatory animals, because those have been addressed in the past, and other things like that.
Okay. Well, when you took a broad scope across this survey, what were some of the issues that popped up the most?
The ones that popped up the most were the three that I just mentioned: body condition score, udder conditions, and lameness.
And I'm assuming that since there was udder condition score, that there was beef and dairy
That's
animals
correct.
graded.
Yes.
And I'm going to make the assumption that the udder was more of an issue in the dairy than what we would see in beef.
You would think, not necessarily. There are some dual-purpose animals out there that can have some udder conditions problems as well.
Cool. Well, let's take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back from the break, I want to get more into the kind of the description of some of these issues that we've seen, and then talk about some of the risks associated on the farm and some of the things we can do to prevent having those show up at slaughter.
Sure.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching Doc Talk. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Brute Cattle Equipment, makers of the Brute Stealth Hydraulic Chute. If the chute fits, swear by it. Visit our website for more information. Meet the Veterinarian, brought to you by Zuprevo. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Dr. Brian Hudapol has been with the Veterinary Medical Clinic in Williamsburg, Iowa since 2001. He works primarily with cow-calf and feedlot operations and enjoys working with ultrasound, embryo transfer, and has been in charge of the heifer development program for the past 10 years. He and his wife have 3 children, and he enjoys spending time with his family as well as golfing and hunting.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman and Colorado Rancher. Join me each week as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association brings you the latest updates in industry information and market news. Plus, each week we provide important educational information and features on cattlemen from across the country just like you. And we can't forget our favorite cowboy poet, Baxter Black. Join me for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, debuting Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, right here on RFD TV.
Beef producers asked for it, and Norbrook delivers. Introducing new Enroflox 100, the newest addition to your arsenal for treating bovine respiratory disease. Enroflox 100 is an FDA-approved, ready-to-use injectable antimicrobial solution to treat BRD associated with Mannheimia hemolytica, Pasteurella multocida, and Histophilus somni in beef and non-lactating dairy cattle. Administered SQ as a multiple-day therapy. Consult with your veterinarian today about Enroflox 100, the new choice. This segment is brought to you by Norbrook Laboratories, manufacturers of Enroflox 100, the newest addition to your arsenal for treating bovine and swine respiratory disease.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from Kansas State University with Dr. Tiffany Lee, who's a veterinarian, and she is a researcher at the Beef Cattle Institute, where we are looking at some research at market cows coming into slaughter facilities. And basically when we left for break, we were talking about body condition score, udder scores, and lameness. Mm-hmm. Now, what exactly, when we start to see these types of conditions, you know, these are animals that still pass antemortem inspection. What is the purpose of going in and looking at these types of defects or issues that we see in these cows? And I hate to say defects because these are still perfectly viable animals that are entering the market chain. But why take a look, or why raise the awareness?
I think the biggest reason why is because some of these things do pose a risk to the welfare of the animals. So if you have an extremely emaciated animal coming in, that can be a welfare issue. If you have an udder that impedes walking, if she steps on the teats, that can be a welfare issue as well.
Okay, so now let's, you know, there's another thing that I think that I guess when I'm looking at body condition score, there are points in time with cheap grain and things to that nature that maybe our farmers or ranchers are maybe leaving some money on the table as well in selling an animal that maybe isn't as profitable and maybe the potential of feeding some of these market cows to gain weight and to move up some of these market cow quality grades that's set forth by the USDA to make a little bit more money. And one of the things, folks, that we always recommend is work with your local practitioner, work with your local veterinarian, design the program that best fits your operation, the practicality and the economics, and the welfare of your cattle.
Yeah, definitely.
So with body condition score, what do you think some of the things that are going on with body condition score? And basically, you know, when we're talking about 20% of the animals being marketed from out of the cows being marketed out of the cow herd, representing revenue of the year, what are some of the things what was the percentage of some of the issues with body condition score?
Well, as far as for example, beef animals in the United States, the prevalence of the decreased body condition score in the survey that we did was about 5.6%.
Okay, so 5% of 20%. So basically, you know, we're starting to get down into a pretty small amount.
It is.
But when we have an industry as integrated and as the infrastructure we have, it's pretty cool when you can say that, go out to the public and say, you know, these animals are being pretty well taken care of.
I believe they are, yes.
I think this is one of those things that, you know, it sounds like it's a big deal.
It does.
But when you get down to 5% of 20%, that's what, 0.4%?
It's not a lot. And, you know, when you look at the survey overall, you know, we didn't see a lot of defects. You know, almost 97% of the animals came in with zero problems. You know, and that's very good.
Yeah,
you know?
and so I think that celebrating the beef industry, celebrating the survey that y'all done, but understanding that even the best football team wants to get a little bit better every day is something that we do in the beef industry every day.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, more with Doc Talk with Dr. Tiffany Lee. See you in a minute.
The BQA Tip of the Day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica, Inc.
Hello folks, this is Dr. Nels Lindberg with Animal Medical Center and Production Animal Consultation. Today's BQA Tip of the Day isn't so much a tip, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge to you producers, stockmen, cattlemen, horsemen, whatever part of the beef industry you're involved in, to get BQA certified. It's extremely important for your education, for the success of our industry, and also for the health and well-being of these cattle that we care for every single day. Nobody cares for these cattle more than we do, but it's very important for us to get further educated in this process. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is go to bqa.org or even contact the Beef Cattle Institute at Kansas State University, and they'd be more than happy to help you through the process. It's easy, it's simple, let's get it done. Thanks.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
In the springtime, cattlemen need to be thinking of preventing important diseases like pink eye. Pink eye prevention includes management factors like good fly control, pasture management, along with a good vaccination program. Eyesight from AgriLabs has broad efficacy coverage as its origin from 8 different field isolates of Moraxella bovis. It is safe, smooth, highly syringeable, safe with young calves and pregnant cows, and provides superior protection against pink eye.
TrueTest Group, weighing systems, electronic identification EID, electric fencing, and dairy automation systems help farmers and ranchers around the world manage the performance of their livestock for ultimate profitability.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Tiffany Lee, and we're from the Beef Cattle Institute at Kansas State University. We're talking about market cows out of beef and dairy herds. And when we talk about market cows, you know, what are some of the reasons why cows are marketed?
Well, you know, we can always go out and talk to producers and see why they remove cows from their herds. However, there is some published data as well that we've seen that tells us that the top few reasons that cows are removed from the herd. You know, the biggest ones are reproductive issues. Most of the time, you know, when
open cows,
basically, yeah,
not bred,
and you know, we see a lot of those in the fall at this this time. Other issues were feet and leg problems causing lameness, things like that in both beef and dairy herds. And big one is udder conformation. In the dairies, mastitis was a big one as well.
So other ones can be disposition.
Oh yes.
And animals that are not, you know, cooperative, problem animals. But the big one going far and away is going to be reproductive issues. The other thing recently across the United States that I think a lot of people could relate to has been drought conditions.
Oh yes.
And if we don't have grasslands, if we have drought like we've seen in California, we've seen in Texas, we've seen in the western United States, we've seen in Kansas and beyond over the last 3 or 4 years, drought conditions have really played a role in a lot of these cows being marketed out of the herds.
Mm-hmm. And I think that it's played a role in these cows being marketed out of the herds at different times of the year. So not just during when you go and have your cows preg checked, maybe earlier in the year, you know, during the summer when there's not, you know, it's hotter, and if you have those drought conditions, there's not going to be as much pasture land that you're going to use.
And so if we can't feed them, and that may roll into some of the things that we've seen with body condition score in the United States relative to other parts of the world, and realizing one thing on the survey and things that we've looked at is that it's a snapshot in time.
I agree.
But reproduction issues, lameness issues, as far as injuries or illness issues, lameness is probably the most prevalent for beef cows, being cold. But even then, you know, there are ways to treat those animals and keep them in the herd. But decreased reproductive performance, decreased production are the biggies in the drought recently.
Mm-hmm. And I really think that you can, with your decreased reproductive performance, if you're removing those cows from the herd, most of the time there's a reason that they don't have the fertility that they should. You know, and sometimes it might be because of an external factor. Maybe there wasn't as much grass and they are a little bit thinner, therefore they didn't get bred as quickly. You know? And
we can get into some of the infectious agents, folks, such as BVD, lepto, and different things to that nature.
Trick has been a big issue.
Trichomoniasis has been a big issue, but BVD, trick, lepto are the three biggies. Again, if you're having a bunch of open cows, you need to get with your veterinarian. Relatively speaking, we'll expect from the time we preg check till the time the cows calve about 2 to 3% abortion rate, normal. Mm-hmm. But if you start to approach that 5 to 7 to 10%, then probably have an infectious disease problem going on and you need to get that checked out.
Yes, your veterinarian can help you check that out. Just work with them and they'll do whatever they can to help you out with that.
Cool. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about prevention of some of these problems. You're watching Doc Talk, and we're sure glad you joined us.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Cow-calf, stocker, and feedlot producers know that effective parasite control improves overall herd performance and profitability. Norbrook offers a comprehensive, economical line of pour-on and injectable parasiticides for every livestock operation. Consult with your local animal health supplier to set up a program that protects your investment and brings larger cattle checks this fall. See for yourself why the Noromectin line from Norbrook is the practical choice for your herd. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson, Dr. Tiffany Lee, and we're talking about market cows out of the dairy and beef cattle herds, which represent about 20% of the gross revenue for a beef rancher or cow-calf production unit. When we started to talk with Dr. Lee, we've talked about some of the things, some of the defects, even though we do a wonderful job, and 80 to 90% of the loads of cattle that come into our slaughter facilities of market cows have no defects at all. And then a small percentage of them have some, and the leading defects were body condition score, udder condition, and lameness. And we're talking about less than 1% of the cattle out there, of the cows presented from our beef and dairy herds. So first of all, thank you to our beef and dairy producers for doing a wonderful job.
Yes.
We then talked about the reasons why animals were culled. Reproductive performance and disposition and lameness were some of the issues. So tell me, as a producer, beef or dairy, what are some of the things I need to do to prevent these things from showing up or these winding up being in our cow herd?
Sure. I think, there's a number of things that we can work on. Those include, having a good healthcare plan along with your veterinarian, so have a good relationship with your veterinarian. Hopefully, most of y'all do. I always had very good
veterinary client-patient relationship.
Yes, and I know that with my clients, I always had a very good relationship, so I was very happy about that. I think another thing is to work with your veterinarian and see if there's animals that you think might have to go. Don't wait. Work with your veterinarian and make sure that they're going at the right time. And
explain a little bit about that, about what the right time is, because
sure.
The training people and having that eye to determine when to send those animals is important.
Mm-hmm, definitely. If you've got an animal that you think might be a little bit thin and she came up open maybe, instead of waiting and maybe saying, well, maybe I'll just wait a little bit, you probably want to send her then, because you have to think, if she's just a little bit thin, she may be in a negative energy balance, and you might be, you have to remember that she still has to make the trip to, the sale or the slaughter facility, and that could be an extended amount of time, decreasing that energy balance even more and causing her to be a little bit even thinner when she gets to wherever she's going.
So if you're not going to feed these animals for condition, for body condition, which, it's about 70 pounds on a cow equals one body condition. So if you're going to feed them for body condition to gain 70 pounds to go to increase those, then you probably need to ship them as soon as possible.
I think so. I do think so. And if you have any with udder conditions or things like that you think, I don't know if I should ship her. If there is a question, you probably do want to ship her, just so that we can make sure that she has good welfare the whole time that she's going to the sale or the facility.
Great. Well, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for watching the show. When it comes to cull cows or market cows, the big thing is, as Temple Grandin said, don't send half-dead cows to the plant. Let's make sure that we're sending a quality animal that we want to be proud of to present to the public. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. Thanks for watching Doc Talk. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian. If you want to find out what Dr. Lee and I do here at K-State, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. You've been watching Doc Talk this morning. We're sure glad you joined us, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Inc., the makers of Triangle vaccines. Triangle, protection you can trust.
It must be an inherited trait because I have never wanted to do anything other than be in the cattle business. And it's interesting as I have grandchildren now, little bitty ones. All they want to do is go to the barn, swing a rope, and be a cowboy. It's something. It's a lifestyle that we have, the way we make a living, obviously. But it's really more than that. It gives us the opportunity as a family to be able to work together and enjoy each other's company and make a living at the same time. We've been using Triangle for years, and the reason we do it has been safe and effective, and we're going to continue to do that. We'll put the cows in the chute twice a year, spring and fall. 100% of our cattle get vaccinated with Triangle.